Okay, I'm going to tell the story a little differently this time. Instead of looking at the cross sections, we've got a way to flood the field and show you how it's going to drain. What you got here is your existing topography. If I roll around on it, you see the elevation. Just look right here in this corner. The elevation is 573 is the high, and the low is 567. So there's not a lot of topography change out here. Now we're going to flood this field, just to show you what you got, what you already know. Otherwise we wouldn't be doing this. But as we drain this field off, water runs downhill, right? We're looking for orphans. So there's your first set of orphans. Okay, those are small, but they're still orphaned water. There's a couple more. Okay, there's your big one. This one's still relieving to the edge of the field. There's another one. Now you can see what's going on, right? So there's your orphans there. That's their max size right there. Now you got a lane here, right? And it's high, so that's wet and that's wet. And I visually can confirm that from being in the field. So there's your south end orphans. Okay, so we know what we got. What are we going to do? Well, let's look at the proposed topography. Okay, so this is what we're wanting to do. And let's flood this sucker. So she's flooded. Let's drain her. See how we're leaving no orphans? No water left undrained. Still connected, aren't we? Still connected. Still connected all the way out of the field. See the difference? Okay, now show you a little bit more stuff that we work with here. Let's look at the topography existing and the depressions existing and the flow accumulation existing. So this is what you got right now. Okay, everywhere is purple is a depression, which I illustrated for you in the other exercise of showing the field drain. Now, if I shut off flow accumulation and depressions, and I turn on WA, okay, this is the wetness, accumulated wetness index. And what this is showing us is that wherever it's blue and green, there's a high probability water's going to go there. Okay, and you can kind of see pretty readily what and where and how your depressions are laid out. The other way to look at this is by LSP class. And if we look at that this way, this is LSP 300. In other words, don't worry about the number, but this is showing you the departure from average as we run across the field. And so in the depression, we have a departure of 1.3 feet. So we know that's a deep depression there. It is about 1.3, 1.4 feet. Now, if we break these into classes, the lower the number is the lower your landscape position. So that's low ground. So everywhere is red, I would expect to have a water problem. So if I turn the depressions on, and you notice the depressions lay right in there. So this is just another method to determine where you're going to have problems. And then looking at WA is telling me the same thing. My blues and my greens are in my lows. So I went ahead and took the proposed elevation map and I calculated the new WA. And if you notice, your blues and greens are connected to the field now. Also, I went ahead and calculated your proposed flow pass. you can see that we now have relief all the way out of this field. Everywhere we look, we have relief. These are stacked up flow paths because it's so flat. So that's just normal. They'll widen out like that when you got flat ground. This is your major waterway because you can see it's a lighter color. It's a lighter color because it's carrying the most amount of acres through it. So right here is showing you it's as light as it can be because that's the highest amount of acres. So all these acres up in here are draining out of this hole. And then I went ahead and made your proposed depressions. Let me find those. So yeah, there are depressions left. These are 0.019 or 0.18 of a foot, which calculates to like a quarter of an inch. So they're artifacts. This low is right there, and it's centered over the dam ditch. So there are no depressions anymore. What else could I show you here? We looked at the cut fill, but let's look at it again in live. So there's your cut fill. There's a 0.78 fill. There's a 0.76 cut. So your highest cuts are right in here. Basically 3/4 of a foot, I think, is your biggest cut. But I mean, it has to be to get this to work out right. There's a 1/2 foot fill. Essentially everywhere else is a neutral. Your yellows are around about 0.17, 0.15 of a foot cut. So pretty minor cuts. Okay, I'll get this on YouTube and you can get a peek at it. See ya.